Margaret Bomer from Texas, USA, went for a routine ultrasound 16 weeks into her pregnancy with her third child. She quickly found out that things were far from routine. Something was seen in the scan, and the doctor came in and told Margaret that there was something seriously wrong with her baby. The expectant mom received news that was very shocking and very scary. Her unborn child had a tumor that develops before birth and grows from a baby's tailbone.
There is a very strong chance that your baby probably will not make it because the tumor is so large so early on.
It was a shock at 16 weeks to learn of her daughter's rare birth defect. In such cases, the tumor grows by sucking blood from the baby. Yet the baby is also trying to grow too, so it becomes a competition. In some instances, the tumor wins. The baby's heart just can't keep up. It goes into failure and the baby dies. But Dr. Oluyinka Olutoye and his colleague, Daryl Cass, were not about to give up. They decided to extract the baby from Margaret's womb and remove the tumor. The baby was then returned to the womb until she reached 36 weeks, when she was successfully delivered by C-section. In 2019, Dr. Olutoye was appointed as professor and the E. Thomas Bowles Chair of Pediatric Surgery at the Ohio State University College of Medicine, according to Nationwide Children's Hospital. Before his current title, the medical trailblazer earned his medical degree from the Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Nigeria, then received his PhD in anatomy from Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond by 1996. This is the quality of talent that Nigeria has gifted the world. Talent that Nigeria can still benefit from with a more strategic partnership with her sons and daughters in diaspora. The Tertiary Education Trust Fund is bringing its unique expertise to make this possible. These are the chronicles of the journey to institutionalize research and development in Nigeria. Hello, and welcome to this edition of TETFund, The Paradigm Shift. I am Stanley Bentu. Now, way back in 2016, Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, made a passionate invitation to Nigerian scientists and researchers, as well as experts in various fields, to come home as their country needs them desperately. Now, that call was issued at his meeting with a delegation from the National Mathematical Center, the African Mathematical Union, and the African Academy of Sciences. First, the question must be asked: how well are researchers, scientists, and experts who stay back in the country treated by the system? What facilities and resources are available for them to work with in order to compete at the global level? Well, TETFund is blazing the trail for intellectual men and women in Nigeria, and even abroad, to enable them to excel in their respective fields. The Nigerian Diaspora Commission, or NIDCOM, and the Tertiary Education Trust Fund has reached an agreement towards research for diaspora management in Nigeria. Now, this was one of the highlights of the meeting between a delegation from NIDCOM, which was led by Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa, the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, and the Executive Secretary of TETFund, Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro, to brainstorm and bridge the gap on research for diaspora management in Nigeria. We will get all of the details of this meeting in a little bit, but first let's analyze the sheer power of potential when it comes to Nigerians living outside the shores of this country. Take a look at this report.
Nigeria has an estimated population of 200 million people, but this is not as surprising given that in 2017, Abike Dabiri Erewa, head of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, stated that there were over 15 million Nigerians living abroad. To put this into context, that is more than all the populations of Liberia, Eritrea, Namibia, and Botswana combined. While many Nigerians have engaged in criminal acts that have tarnished the country's reputation, there are many others who are excelling in their respective professions and even making history. The Africa Polling Institute, the API, ran a survey in 2020 and found that the most popular destinations for Nigerian migrants is Canada, followed by the US and the UK. Other popular destinations include Australia, Germany, Spain, Italy, and South Africa. Following a visa ban placed on Nigerians by the United States in 2019, a top American journalist with the CNN, Fareed Zakaria, argued that Nigerians are the most educated immigrant group from sub-Saharan Africa currently residing in the US. 59% aged 25 and older have at least one bachelor's degree, compared to 33% of Americans born in the US. This same report stated that 54% of Nigerian immigrants tend to work in highly skilled jobs, largely white-collar positions in business, management, science, the humanities, and arts, compared to 39% of people born in the US.
Nigerian immigrants, who make up the largest group of sub-Saharan African immigrants in the United States as of 2017, check all those boxes. They are some of the most educated immigrants in America. That means, of course, they have significant spending power. According to a new report by the New American Economy Research Fund, in 2018, Nigerian immigrants in the United States made more than $14 billion and paid more than $4 billion in taxes. And the Nigerian diaspora around the world sent back almost $24 billion in remittances in 2018, contributing to a Nigerian economy that is more dynamic than many people, including maybe Trump himself, realize.
The Nigerian diaspora population remitted $65.3 billion in 3 years to boost economic activities in Nigeria. This is according to data obtained by the World Bank. In 2018, the Nigerian diaspora remittance reached an all-time high of $24.3 billion. In 2019, that number dropped to $23.8 billion, and in 2020, it fell even lower to $17.2 billion. Remittance inflow made up 4% of Nigeria's gross domestic product in 2020. Though, according to the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, Nigeria had a diaspora population of 1.7 million as of 2020, which puts the average remittance per Nigerian abroad at $38,000 across 3 years. Since 2008, India has held the trophy for the largest recipient of diaspora remittances, as it reaps from its large pool of technology experts who are highly sought after abroad. However, in the years under review, on per person average, Nigeria received more remittances than India and Bangladesh, another top destination for diaspora remittances. There is also another possibility that remittances to Nigeria are much higher than have been officially captured. This is because Nigerians abroad explore unofficial ways of sending money home in order to maximize unofficial exchange rates. In recognition of the potential of the diaspora, the Nigerian government has articulated a clear policy directive to effectively utilize, support, and engage the diaspora for Nigerian national development. The federal government signed the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission Establishment Bill into law in July 2017, after recognizing the strategic importance of the Nigerian diaspora. The law established the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission (NIDCOM), which was set up to engage and utilize the human, capital, and material resources of this demography in the socio-economic, cultural, and political development of Nigeria. Abike Dabiri Erewa was appointed as the first chairman and chief executive officer of the commission. In 2019, the federal government went a step further by recognizing the 25th of July every year as National Diaspora Day.
Brain drain is one of the most damaging experiences that any country can have. In fact, when you look back at history during the years of wanton invasions, occupations, raping and pillaging of the resources of one people by another, the invading peoples always meticulously sought out the scribes and the writers, artists, poets, and philosophers, and rather than executing them, they were assimilated by the occupying powers. Their intellects were used to fortify the hold of the occupying government. Now, the executive secretary of TETFund is quite outspoken about how brain drain can derail the country's efforts to become a leader in the era of the knowledge economy. In his view, studying abroad should be seen as an option rather than a do-or-die affair. At the end of the day, the nation should be able to benefit in some way from the milestones achieved by its citizens abroad.
How do we get the benefit of some of our best that either brain drained, we in the university system, as well as, for instance, the health specific sectors, the health sector, the education and health sectors. They lost perhaps more than any other two sectors during the brain drain of the late 80s to early 90s. And sadly, the brain drain has continued in many other areas across the sectors. We're losing some of our best. And it is fantastic that we now have a diaspora commission to look at the resourcefulness that has exited our country. Many Nigerians have voted with their feet. Yes, they have voted with their feet, leaving their fatherland and motherland to go out to some of the best centers of excellence, some of the best hospitals, universities, etc. Some of the best of industry that value their resourcefulness. But each time we reflect, and I've met this in my public statements, I said, whatever we need to do, we must do as a nation, as a people. And for some of us that are players in government, it is our responsibility to change the environment and reverse the brain drain, so that some of our best will return to our country. The reasons that made them leave had to do with the environment. And by putting in environment, we can deconstruct environment and understand what we mean. For the universities, when at some point, even physical infrastructure were not there. When in the early 90s, ASU, we went out there on strike and said, our universities were glorified secondary schools.
Now, it's interesting how you can draw a straight line directly connecting human resources to higher education, to skills acquisition and application, and ultimately to economic productivity and strength. This means that with a coordinated strategic effort, the best minds in Nigeria can be harnessed for research and development. And those that are outside the country can still lend their abilities by bringing the unique knowledge that they have acquired abroad to the table for Nigeria's progress. This is what must have been in Professor Bogoro's mind when the chairman and CEO of NIDCOM paid him a visit. Now, she came visiting on the 24th of November 2021 at TETFund's corporate headquarters in Abuja. The purpose of the visit was to facilitate a partnership with TETFund to establish a diaspora resource and research center in Nigeria, which would be the first of its kind in Africa. Here's the report.
One of the highlights resulting from a meeting between a delegation from NIDCOM and the Executive Secretary of TETFund, Professor Suleiman Bogoro, was an agreement between the two organizations to brainstorm and bridge a gap towards research for diaspora management in Nigeria. Honorable Abike Dabiri Erewa explained during the meeting that the Commission is collaborating with the University of Ibadan to build a Diaspora Research for Development Center at the Premier University. Dabiri Erewa added that the project, which is a 10-year plan, is aimed at looking at the impact of the Nigerian diaspora on the global front. She said that the center will build capacity to train the academia and produce numerous academic resources in diaspora and migration studies.
We're here to say that we can collaborate, we can have this Diaspora Research Center in Nigeria. And it's a 10-year research project that is aimed at researching the global positive impact of the Nigerian diaspora. And we believe that this project will work at, will be a potential for decriminalizing our image as a people, so to speak, to show the world truly who we are as Nigerians, and most importantly, even the historic African diaspora. We have the diaspora clamoring to be the 7th region. We can start the research right here in Nigeria. We should build capacity through this research center, and we believe that this capacity building for diaspora research and development will even train more lecturers in the field of diaspora, more PhDs, more production of people in that field of diaspora studies, Professor Sir. So we believe that it will also be provide capacity building on a regular basis for governance and policy formulation in Nigeria across all levels of governance.
The NIDCOM chairman believes that working with TETFund on research and development will help decriminalize Nigeria's image across the world. She added that the center will build capacity to train young academics and produce numerous academic resources in diaspora and migration studies.
There's a program that is called the LEADS program. It was discontinued a while back. Now this program was such that the diaspora and the academia, they come back to the country during their sabbatical, 3 months, 6 months, they come back and give back their skills. Unfortunately, it was discontinued, maybe because of lack of funds. We believe that we can resuscitate this program. So the linkages program is one that allows the diaspora professionals in the academia to give back their skills. And they're asking for nothing. It's just their time, they give their time, we provide accommodation for them, we provide the institutions, and they're good to go. So hopefully this is something that we can resuscitate working with you and the NUC. Now we have a diaspora policy to guide all diaspora engagements. It was approved by FEC a few months back, and TETFund has a major role to play in that policy. So once more, Prof, thank you for receiving us, and we look forward to fruitful deliberations and a robust partnership that will be impactful, that will make a difference in Nigeria as a nation. Thank you very much for receiving us, and God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.
In his response, Professor Suleiman Bogoro said that the Tertiary Education Trust Fund is always eager to partner with organizations as well as collaborate in areas concerning research. He stated that TETFund over the years has made it a mandate to uplift the standard of tertiary institutions in Nigeria to globally competitive levels through various means.
That about 10 years ago, there was no Nigerian university in the top 2,000 in the world. 3-4 years after TETFund started intervening in research and academic staff training, where the percentage of PhD holders in our universities moved from 40%, as at about 9 years ago, to 60% as at 2015. And more recently, the percentage is anything between 70 to 99%. There is no doubt about it. And I am happy to share this with you. I will come to talk about your initiative with University of Ibadan. The University of Ibadan, well, I said it was in about 2015 that we had 2-3 universities appearing in the top 1,000. UI, Covenant University, etc., UNILAC, and others. And last year, I had visited UI, and the VC, Professor Olayinka, the immediate past VC, said he's happy to announce that University of Ibadan has hit the top 500 in the world, the first by any Nigerian university. And they just got the news that week. And he turned to TETFund and said, we want to thank you for your significant contribution to this scale-up of ranking of the University of Ibadan. It gives you some elements as to the relevance that we have aspired to achieve. in the education sector, but precisely in the tertiary education subsector, and more specifically, the public ones.
Professor Bogoro also stressed that research is a paramount tool in properly structuring the socio-economic terrain of the nation, to encourage Nigerians, both home and abroad, to actively key into the affairs of the country for national growth. The TETFund Executive Secretary, who said that the organization looks forward to partnering with the Commission, further noted that if possible, a residual budget from the 2020 budget may be allocated by the fund to support the project.
The case for TETFund Diaspora Partnership in respect of research and development. I appreciate this. For me, my staff know it, that if there is anything you want to see me excited about, is to talk about partnership in respect of research. Believe me, in our annual budget, we have, I think for 2 consecutive years now, we've set aside 1 billion for partnership. That's to tell you the extent of how much we're taking. So you better imagine that maybe I'm opening a window for you. Honestly, we have some funds we set aside for partnership. And between me and his department, I quoted the ES of NUC represented by Dr. Chris Mayaki, who said, Theresa May, after Brexit pronouncement, adoption of Brexit by UK, which led to her losing her office, is understandable. But before she left, she had said, now that the people have voted for Brexit, there is a clear imperative. It's no more business as usual. United Kingdom must reinvent itself post-Brexit. And wisdom dictates that we fall back on our universities to direct us. Let's reflect over this statement by the Prime Minister of United Kingdom. The greatest of civilizations, the most competitive economies, they fall back on their researchers, their philosophers, and their thinkers. And the apex are in the university system, historically and traditionally. Madam, I know that you have a task at the Diaspora Commission. Believe me, there are many areas that from what you said, we can work on. I know you would like to hear this from me before I close, and that is, after listening to you, I will look at the possibility of, if there is a residual fund, I'm creating a terminology I've never used, a residual fund anywhere that we can give to the University of Ibadan, if it were possible in the 2022. We'll be glad to do so to support your resource and research facilitators. Thank you very much, and we look forward to forging this relationship and working on specific areas to tidy up our expressions. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
At the end of the meeting, both parties decided to set up a technical committee for the project. The silver lining of this collaboration is the creation of a new narrative which puts forward the positive word that an overwhelming majority of Nigerians are doing well all over the world. The knock-on effect is that Nigeria should not be judged by the negative actions of a few, but should be celebrated for the true story that many of its sons and daughters are honest, hard-working, successful, and productive people.
In the words of the immortal Winston Churchill, the great leader of Britain during World War II, history will be kind to me because I intend to write it. Indeed, it's a grave mistake that thus far we have allowed the world to define and declare who we are. We, as Nigerians, must decide to tell our own stories so that the world can experience the truth of who we really are. Now, there are many ways that we can do this, but one of the most efficient is our investment in research and development, especially as it connects to key sectors of the economy like health, pharmaceuticals, ICT, manufacturing, energy, oil and gas, security, and governance, just to mention a few. And that is the paradigm shift. Join us again next time. Until then, thank you for stopping by. Good night.